both raisins and rum, you'd think they wouldn't get along and the flavors would fight, but as it turns out, after they've been marinating for a while, they all get kind of mellow together, and the rum and the raisins, the sweetness and the alcohol do work together really well in this recipe.
Hello and welcome back to Cooking Plus Alcohol. I'm Nat, and today we're doing rum raisin roast. This is kind of an unusual recipe. If you think of like a sweet barbecue that's slow cooked till the meat just falls apart beautifully, this is close to that. If you think of a sauerbraten where you have meat marinated for maybe a week in wine, alcohol, a little bit of vinegar, maybe some raisins, maybe it's close to that. It's in the oven right now and it's been in there for about 6 hours. The idea is I marinated that for almost a week in rum and raisin marinade.
For the marinade, just pour the ingredients into the blender: rum, raisins, ginger, and a little bit of salt, and then mix it up for about a minute with the blender. You want to shred the raisins so that it all diffuses into each other and the tastes all blend together. Put the pork in a Ziploc bag and pour in the marinade. Anytime you marinade, you can get a lot of bubbles in there, and the marinade, of course, doesn't work where it isn't against the surface. If you can remove as much air as possible, it's going to improve your marinade. I don't recommend you physically put your lips against the bag and suck the air out. It's a bad idea because you can get trichinosis, and you can also inhale the alcohol fumes and make you gag. But I do it and it works pretty well for me. And then put it in the fridge.
About every day or so, every half day, every time that you open the fridge, just take it out, flip it so the other side is getting some marinade.
While that's in the fridge, you're gonna make the rub. Dark brown sugar, sea salt, cracked black pepper, got some smoked paprika, onion and garlic powder, and a little cayenne to jazz it up. Now you're going to set aside 2 teaspoons of this to add to the sauce later and kick that up a little too.
Earlier this morning, what I did is took it out and patted it dry, get off all the liquid as much as I can. I want to separate that out because I'm going to make the sauce out of that later. Pat it dry and then rub in the rub. The rub it'll make the outside just really yummy. It won't get as crunchy as barbecue, but it will be a nice little flavor change. So your mouth is going to go from a little bit of alcohol and a little bit of sweetness in the center out to the outside, which is less alcohol and a little bit of kick from the red pepper in there.
You also need to use a meat thermometer. Here I'm using 2. As you can see, it's like a nurse trying to find the vein. You gotta get around the bone and not in the bone. I use 2 here because the one for the oven doesn't work all the time, and I sort of gave up on that working. The other one just goes to an external readout. With all the tube connections, this roast looks like something out of the movie Brazil to me. Now, you don't have to put what your roast does on a spreadsheet like I did, but I did want to show you the temperature rises very fast initially and then levels off. So even though it's going to change temperature very quickly initially, it's going to slow down at the end. So don't panic if you see the temperature going up too fast at the start. After the meat's done, after it's reached 160 degrees F, you're going to go ahead and make a tent out of aluminum foil. I sealed together 2 pieces of aluminum foil here, seal the edges, and then you're going to put it back in the oven to rest in that. And so the oven is going to be a lower temp. It's going to be like a very, very low, like 140, maybe a hot tub, but that is going to improve your meat if it sits in there for a while. Next, we're making the sauce. We're going to put the juices, all the marinade that's left, through a strainer. We're going to add in the 2 teaspoons of rub that we set aside before. And then we're going to heat that mixture up. We're not going to heat it up much because we want to keep all the alcohol in it that we can. So we're just going to keep it at a very, very low level boil with 1 or 2 bubbles coming out on occasion. We're going to take the butter and we're going to make, with the flour, we're going to make a roux. So going to let the butter get a little hot. add in the flour, and then you're going to stir that around. So you're going to cook the flour in the butter basically, and that's going to thicken up your rum sauce. But what it's also going to do, it's going to give it the flavor of like butter rum, and that's what's going to be in your sauce. So a butter rum raisin sauce is maybe a good description of this, with a couple other little spices in there too. Careful to keep stirring that roux. And then when it's hot enough, it's cooked a little bit, gonna go ahead and add the roux in. You don't have to switch positions of the things on the stove. I just did that because it's just much easier for me to add when it's close to me. I'm gonna add it in a little bit at a time, whisking it in, and that's gonna thicken up your sauce wonderfully. And this is what it looks like. It's got the consistency of butterscotch, and it's so good. And now I'll hand it over to Em to let you know what happened when I made it.
We had friends over to share it. Brooke thought it was fun and loved it. I thought there was a zing in the center of the meat, like mustard. Adam could also taste the alcohol in the meat itself. He liked that the meat was so moist, plenty of flavor, and did not need a lot of sauce like barbecue. Vince thought it was a roast, not like barbecue. He could not taste the alcohol in the meat itself, but he loved it and had seconds. In fact, everyone had seconds and no one could think of anything they would change. It was like holiday dinner on a Monday.
Thanks for joining me today. Hope you got a lot out of it, and hope it's tasty for you. Join me in a couple of weeks and I'll have a recipe for brandy apple pie. If you have an idea for the next cooking plus alcohol recipe, please drop it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button or join me for another video right now. See you next time, and don't forget to play with your food.